listening to continuing coverage of the Rust shooting trial against Alec Baldwin from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. Now back to the courtroom.
Call your first witness.
State calls Nicholas LaFleur. Sir, please,
Be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right, have a seat. Talk into the microphone. Sure.
with regard to the invocation of the rule, Marquise.
He did deny objection.
Case agents allowed. In.
Sir, state your name and spell your last name for the court record, please.
My name is Nicholas LaFleur. My last name is spelled L-E-F-L-E-U-R.
And how are you currently employed?
The City of Santa Fe Police Department.
And what do you do there?
Police officer.
How long have you been employed at the City of Santa Fe?
2 years.
Can everyone hear Officer LaFleur? Okay. And prior to working for the Santa Fe Police Department, did you work anywhere else?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you work?
The Santa Fe County Sheriff's
And
Department.
how long did you work at the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department?
About 2 years.
And were you on duty on October 21st of 2021?
Yes.
Did you receive a dispatch call?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you received and what you did?
A call came in that there was someone shot at a movie set. Unclear who shot, how many were shot. I happened to be the closest person to the call and arrived on scene first.
So when you arrived on scene, when you say first, were there other law enforcement officers there?
No, not at the time when I got there.
Were there any other first responders present?
There was some fire personnel and what they called a scene medic for the movie set, I guess.
You said a scene medic?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you, let me ask you, when you receive a call for a shooting, what's your primary concern?
Priority life.
And what do you
And
mean
to
when you
make
say priority life?
make sure whoever needs help gets help and that the threat is stopped.
And when you arrived on the scene, and where was it?
Bonanza Creek movie set, I guess. It's quite a ways off the interstate.
Okay. And what county and state is that in?
Santa Fe County, state of Mexico.
Okay. So when you arrived there, give us an idea of what you saw. What was going on?
It was a big, old, like cowboy western themed, like city or a town. There's a bunch of people running everywhere, a bunch of cars, a bunch of people pointing. When I got there, people were pointing towards a church. When I got out, I attempted to grab my medical bag and went in and saw.
Hang on, I'm gonna stop you there. Approximately how many people were there on scene?
I don't have the direct number, but there was more than 100 people.
Have you ever been called to a shooting where there were 100 people already on scene?
No.
Did that present any specific challenges for you?
Yes.
Explain to us what those challenges were.
Just there's a lot of moving parts. You just got to take it one piece at a time, see who's hurt, make sure that one, that nobody's continually getting hurt, and then two, the person who's hurt, medical attention is being given to them, and then go from there.
Okay. And when you arrived on scene that day, were you running your body-worn camera?
Yes.
The state moves for the admission of State's Exhibit 4.
No further objections, Your Honor.
I want to just make sure I'm connected. I'm ready to play. Permission to publish?
Was you going to satisfied with the foundation?
Yes, Your Honor. We've consented to both lapel videos
All right.
today.
So you may this is State's one.
4. How do I get the monitors to come on? Okay.
You know how to do it? Go ahead, do it.
All right.
Santa Fe, looks like the meds are here at the gate. Carol, that all something else that they can follow.
This one's not. It's on, but it's green light.
Green light's after.
Or do you want?
Sure, the monitor won't just come on?
Just come on.
He's got to get the adapter. Go get the adapter.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, do you want to turn around and just look at the monitor on the wall behind you?
It doesn't matter, ma'am.
Okay, let's do that.
You got your tunnel kit? Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. Stupid new truck. Are we inside with the BBMs?
Officer LaFleur, tell us what's going on in the video right now.
I'm looking for my other medic bag. I handed the individual a trauma pack for shooting. I'm attempting to open one of the storage boxes in the back of the truck.
Who was the individual that you handed something to?
I believe it was a fire personnel that I followed in, a volunteer firefighter maybe.
And I thought I heard the word, is it BVM?
It's for CPR. It's a bag valve mask.
Bag valve mask.
BVM.
Okay, thank you.
Where you at?
A seal. You have a seal?
A seal?
A seal.
I got a sterile glove and a packing glove.
Okay.
Right here.
Are you over there? It's over there? Yep.
Yeah, my hand is on it. Talking.
Where's that? Right shoulder. Stop.
Oh, we're gonna get you up.
Where she shot her?
She came in here and went across her chest.
And came
Okay.
out the back and went into the head.
You want air flight?
Yeah, we got one in route.
Okay.
And what are you talking about there when you say air flight?
A helicopter that's designed to transport people that need advanced treatment faster than an ambulance. It's a helicopter that air paramedics basically.
Did you call for the helicopter, or did someone else do that? Do you know?
That individual said that they had already called one, but I called one for one as well.
You
on the
called
radio.
also?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you feel that it was necessary to have a helicopter arrive?
Someone who was shot across the chest. We're quite a ways out for an ambulance in reference to where the hospital is. So
And when you say you were quite a ways out, how far away is Bonanza Creek?
from a hospital, running lights and sirens, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or more.
Okay.
32 Santa Fe. One female shot in the chest. Male shot in the stomach. Requesting air flight.
Requesting air flight.
I heard you there say male shot in the stomach. Is that what you said?
I'm not sure.
Well, as you sit here today, do you recall where the other person was shot?
Somewhere in the chest
Okay,
or shoulder area.
thank you.
It's okay. I got you right here. 2432, how many people you have seen there?
32, I got just Santa Fe medics.
As soon as we can get any requesting that information.
In your video, sir, can you identify who the set medic is?
It's a little blurry, but I believe it's this lady right when it's bent over with her blondish brown hair.
Is the monitor working now?
Yeah, this monitor's working now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you know how to touch it to put it? There you go. Thank you. I appreciate you. You can go ahead and remove that.
Oh, I don't know how to remove it.
Can you show them how to remove it?
Push on the menu button
Okay.
if it's in the way.
Do you know who these other people are that are in the room?
No, I know that that person, and somebody over here, the battalion chief, they were wearing Santa Fe medic, county fire medic shirts. So, and they came in the vehicle in front of me.
You don't know who the other people are that are in the room?
I know the other person shot, and then Halyna Hutchins, or I maybe misspelled her name or pronounced it, and then the other assistant director, and that's about it.
Okay. And you mentioned that there was a truck pulling in ahead of you.
It was a volunteer firefighter truck.
So did the first responders that we see here in this scene, did they arrive about the same time you did?
Yes.
32 Santa Fe, both approximately 140 pounds. Elderly male and young female. What do you need me? No.
Hey, Chief.
You want a BBM?
He's good. He's got a broken shoulder today.
This is out. Repeat your information.
Are you flying her out?
Yeah, she'll be
Officer LaFleur, tell us what you're doing now and why.
I looked over it and seen that they were getting the oxygen tank out. Noticed that they were using on a bag valve mask, which is more appropriate for that situation than the one that goes around their face. I'm just helping them, doing as much as I can to help.
So give us a little bit more information. What causes you to believe that the bag valve mask is more appropriate than the one that goes around your face? And when you say the one that goes around your face, what do you mean?
If the oxygen were to run out or they had to use manual breaths, they could use the bag. The other one is just something that's over their face.
Okay. And what made you think that the bag valve mask was more appropriate?
Nothing really. I just believe it's more, I don't know.
Officer LaFleur, are you trained in life-saving measures?
To an extent, yes.
Okay. Was it anything about your training that caused you to think that that would be more appropriate?
It's just what we've been trained with versus the one that was already on her.
Okay.
Gabby, can you just make sure nobody else comes in?
Yeah, we got air.
Do you have ears, ma'am? Do you have stethoscope? Yes, they're in that bag.
Hang in there.
Right there at the top. Purple? Nope, at the top. Halyna.
Is anybody allowed to go with her in the helicopter?
No.
Halyna, deep breath. Deep breath, Halyna. There you go. Deep breath, Halyna. Deep breath.
Be okay.
Good girl.
There you go. Good girl.
In charge of that.
Deep breath. Jesus Christ.
I was behind
You're doing okay. Entrance is here. Exit's back here.
Okay. You guys
Do you have another?
pack it?
No.
What do you guys need?
I just need another dog tag.
Dog tag?
Something for pressure. I'll take a big one.
This one?
No, this one's good.
This one?
No. Ab
one?
pad, do you have an ab pad?
Underneath the left shoulder blade, the top area coming through.
You're not taking anything. All right, thank you. I just need something big. Thank you.
You got a stretcher?
Not me here, no.
Okay. Let me help him get the stretcher. Stretcher.
What are you doing now?
Just trying to stay busy, help clear the way for the stretcher. The ambulance is here.
Here's priority number one. Okay.
Let's start clearing it, all this stuff out of there. We get everything in here and get it out.
All right. We got air flight en route.
Not on me here. We can get it from the elevator. Halyna Hutchins.
This is Halyna Hutchins.
What's that?
On this side, copy that.
Okay, we're gonna move.
Okay. So I got the air. Thank you. Get all that out. I'm not behind you guys. All right, so we're gonna need to get her going right away.
Officer LaFleur, have additional first responders now arrived?
Yes.
Can you give us an idea of who's on set assisting now?
So it looks like more paramedics have arrived and Lieutenant Benavides is right there.
Okay. And do you mean this gentleman here?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
my cursor's on? And who was Lieutenant Benavides?
He was our day shift lieutenant at the time.
Was he a supervisor?
Yes, ma'am.
We got it through and through on her. We went through and through on her, through the chest, and then you got one in the arm over there.
Everybody stops what they're doing right now. This is a crime scene.
Whose voice is that we're hearing?
Lieutenant Benavides.
Okay, roll it back. Roll over to the other side. See? One, two, three. All right, underneath, pull. Yeah, good. All right, let's go up and down. Let's go down there. All right, let's go good carry here, okay? You keep your eyes on me, keep looking at me. Where's the Coast Guard? See the front of the Coast Guard? You don't know where the bird is right now? Did you find out? Yeah, go to the side, just like cover. All right, we got some stairs, guys. Couple stairs on the first step.
What is your understanding about where Ms. Hutchins is being taken now?
Into the back of the ambulance.
And can you explain why is she going into the back of an ambulance rather than the helicopter?
The helicopter hasn't arrived yet, and my understanding is that they have additional medicines and equipment and measures they can take inside of an ambulance.
All right, thank you.
Disconnect there. You got it? Hey, can you take over that? You guys want to see Vincent? Find out the ETA on the bird. 32 Santa Fe, what's the ETA on the bird?
What did you just say?
I asked the ETA on the helicopter.
And who are you speaking to?
Santa Fe Dispatch.
Do you recall how they responded?
It's been a minute since I watched this video, so.
All right.
Oh, we got the bird right here.
The helicopter now arriving?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing now?
Here's I'm grabbing crime scene tape.
Why are you grabbing crime scene tape?
To start the crime scene. I don't know if anybody had told me to grab the tape yet, but I knew we needed to start one.
You felt that you needed to put up crime scene tape.
Yes, ma'am. Or somebody may have asked for it.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Or somebody may have asked me for it. I'm just not too sure.
Okay. And what's crime scene tape used for?
To mark the perimeter or the inner perimeter of essentially a crime scene which they want to tape off and only allow certain people in and out.
Okay. And was that an issue in this scene?
The crime scene?
Well, cordoning off the crime scene, was that an issue here?
Yeah, it was a unique situation because of the you can't really tie crime scene tape to nothing. So I think in one point they actually used our patrol units as to tie the tape around and go to the next one.
And why is it important to cordon that off?
Just for evidence purposes, allow only certain people in and out because at this point we didn't know what was going on. So.
And were there people in that area that were not first responders?
Yes.
Approximately how many, if you recall?
I don't know. I couldn't give you a number really. There was just a lot of people on the outside that I hadn't seen originally inside the church. So.
Okay, and did you know who those people were?
No.
Okay. Person here in the gray shirt?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that a first responder?
No.
So when the crime scene tape goes up, what happens to that person?
I can't recall. I haven't watched the video yet.
Hypothetically, is that person allowed to stay inside the crime scene?
No.
Okay. Who are the people that are allowed to stay inside the tape?
Medical and for first responders.
Okay.
What do you need, Chief? I'm radioing for my command for my mind.
Tell you guys, this was in the middle of a shot, and I have live ordnance on the ceiling up there. It's safe.
Okay.
But it is here, right above here.
Okay.
Right there, that's...
Okay.
And if you get to the point where you say you want me to move,
all right.
all my guys...
Okay.
Where's the bird?
It's right here. Okay.
What are you doing now?
I talked with the paramedics inside the ambulance, and they asked me where the helicopter was. I told them it was landing, and he asked them to bring the paramedics to them.
So you're bringing the paramedic from the helicopter to the ambulance?
Yes.
All right.
You got approximately 23-year-old female in the back of the ambulance right now. Gunshot underneath the right arm. Went through all the way to the back left. Can you carry this back for you, sir? I got it. You got it? This one's priority.
Guys, just get a couple IDs. They're not sure whether they're IOs or not. Here, grab the IO stuff. Can you open your eyes for me? Awesome. Yep. There. Hey, I'll have to work on the IO and then come around. That's it. I'll shoot back. Here, if I could just have you guys just step over there for us, okay? Can I have you guys get over there for us? We're going to have to gather everybody up, get everybody's names, everybody who's on scene, okay?
What are you doing now?
Just trying to think what's next. I think I'm putting one of the pilot's headgear inside the ambulance on the other side of the door.
Why are you telling those people to move?
Just to start to gather people up because they're just standing around the church where the said incident happened.
Why didn't you do that when you initially got there?
Just went in and made sure that that people were receiving medical treatment, and then slowly go with the flow, see what it could do next.
Are you trained to take action to save lives before moving witnesses around?
Yes, ma'am.
How's it going, sir? I believe you guys will be taking this one.
In the bird then? Did she go in the bird?
No, not yet. They did an IVs, getting IO, and then they're going to take in the bird.
They're coming out, watch yourself.
They're moving it from this one?
Yeah.
There's a couple of them still.
Is that your truck? Okay, we're
And Whose jacket is that? Joel's? Okay.
It's got his phone. Be careful, it is bloody.
Okay.
It's got his phone, it's got his other stuff in it.
Okay, well, we're going to just keep it here. So,
His phone?
Officer LaFleur, this woman who's speaking right now, she's not a police officer, right?
No.
Was she employed with the fire department?
No, she was their set medic, I'm guessing.
When you say set medic, do you mean she's the medic on the movie set?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he was wearing it. Well, where's his phone at?
I don't know.
Do you have any idea why movie sets would have medical personnel on scene?
Probably for safety reasons. Someone closer than the paramedics or fire department.
For safety reasons?
Yeah.
Phone.
Anybody have Joel's phone? Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
How can we help you?
I just need your IDs, and then have you guys step outside and wait for the investigators to get here. Okay? Okay, cool.
Any idea who these guys are?
Just more people involved with the movie set.
Movie set employees?
Yeah.
Is that your impression?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's the props guy? Who's in charge of props?
She has green and purple hair. You can't miss her.
Okay.
I was here when it happened.
You were here when it happened?
Yes, sir.
Who else was here when it happened?
My back was surged. The camera operator. It's in his front pocket.
How many people do you think were in here when it happened?
3, maybe 4.
4?
Maybe.
Okay. So 2 more other than you 2?
Reed, as soon as I see him, he
Reed?
camera operator. Reed, yes sir.
Okay, who else?
Reed Russell was here. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin was the actor on set that pulled the trigger.
Alec Baldwin?
Yes sir.
Where's he at?
We got one.
Yeah, you'll help me find him?
Yes sir. Alec Baldwin's right there on the cell phone with the cowboy hat.
Okay. How's it going, sir? So my understanding, you were in the room when someone was shot?
holding the gun, yeah.
Okay, alrighty.
What do you need?
Well, I know your name, so
Pursuant to the stipulation, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead. I want to make sure this is the right part. Okay.
Let me get with my lieutenant and see where we want you to hang out, okay?
Whatever you want to do.
Yes, sir. All right, give me just a second. LT. So
apparently I'm not given the appropriate regal. Want me to jump ahead? I need to know what to do, or
Do you want to pull the trigger? Do you want me to have him sit tight or?
Yeah, you have to sit tight.
Sit tight in the unit?
I have the armor in here. This is all their stuff. I have the gun used is in there.
And I got the 2 people that were in the room.
Okay.
You may have Alec Baldwin take a seat in the back of my unit, or?
No, we know where he's at. We know who he is.
Yeah.
We just need to say, is he in a trailer?
No, he's right there in the gray and black.
Okay. All right. So try to keep him away from everybody.
Okay.
Have him talk to anybody.
Okay. I can just have him sit. I can sit with him in my unit.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Officer LaFleur, at this point in time, what's your intention?
I was going to go back to where Mr. Baldwin was and then escort him to my unit. When I got there, I realized my unit is over here being used as a post for the crime scene.
So what did you do when you realized that?
Just had him sit where he was and had everybody just hang out there. Started writing down people's names.
Okay.
Earplugs, everything. All right.
What are these people doing?
Seems like they're talking about what happened.
Now, as a law enforcement officer, is that something that concerns you?
Yes.
And why? Why does that concern you?
They could be, one person could be telling them what they saw and mess up what they have to say what they saw. It could essentially coerce testimony, I guess. People would say the same thing because the other person said it, rather than saying their own opinion or own view of what they saw.
Okay.
Mr. Baldwin, who's the director on scene?
The guy that was shot.
The guy that was shot? Okay.
Where is he now? I think he's in the ambulance.
Do you guys have a production car? Or?
There's an AD. His name is Dave. I'm waiting for you right now. Okay. I'm happy to stay right here and do everything that he's doing.
Well, my lieutenant just wants you to stay away from everybody and not to talk to nobody. So I was.
Wait right here.
We can wait right here and have everybody step back, or we can wait in the back of a patrol unit, but I prefer to not put you there, okay?
You want something? You want water or something now? I want to find props to get a cigarette.
So, why did you let Mr. Baldwin sit there instead of putting him in some vehicle and separating him from the other witnesses?
Like I said, my unit was clear across being used as a post, and just because I didn't know what we had right there, came to maintain cooperation with people involved.
Well, it sounds like you gave him an option. You let him choose, is that right?
Yeah, he wanted to stay right there, and figured if I could keep him there, I didn't see a big problem with it until later on when people were talking and whatnot.
And did you give Mr. Baldwin instructions about whether or not he could speak to people?
I did tell him to stop talking.
And did you give instructions to the other witnesses that were around?
I didn't tell them, but I told them that he had to sit there and not talk to nobody.
Okay.
I got it. What do you got? You got medium? Marble? We'll take it.
So you don't want us to go
Hands are shaking. Try kind of.
Yes, sir.
Right, I'm right there. The silver car is Alec's vehicle. If you want to put him in there.
Mr. Baldwin, is that your car?
Yeah.
We can wait in there.
You want me to stay here?
We can wait in your car if you want to.
I can't smoke in the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can wait. Hang out right here then.
Is Joe gone? Are they both gone?
Well, they're still working on the female. If you haven't seen the helicopter take off, then they're not gone yet.
If you know, Officer LaFleur, why hadn't the helicopter taken off yet?
I don't know exactly why, but my guess is they have to stabilize the patient before they can put him in the air.
In the air, okay. Why are you just standing there?
Just standing with Mr. Baldwin, allowing him to smoke a cigarette, making sure.
And why is it important for you to be standing there?
Essentially, he's detained, not free to leave, so I'm there with him.
That one right there?
That sheriff's car with the gray hair kind of in the
Okay.
shirt.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, is there an officer over here by now?
Why do you have these two gentlemen standing over there that we can see? What is there something important about them?
The guy in the gray I had him stand over there because he was inside the room when I first got at the church, and the other guy in the brown apparently was in the church too. So I just wanted everybody who was in the church in one area so we could easily be found.
So you wanted everyone that was in the church in one area?
Yes, ma'am.
And are we looking at that area?
To the left of Baldwin is where majority of everybody was, yes.
Okay. And those were the witnesses that were in the church?
From what I was told, yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Baldwin, how many people were in the room when it happened?
I don't remember. It's a crew.
It's a crew?
A dozen people, but a lot of it was outside that building. He'll tell you.
Okay.
He's the one that knows what was outside. He's asking how many people were in the room at the time.
How's it going, sir? Deputy LaFleur. How many people were in the room at the time? Six?
7.
Officer LaFleur, who's this gentleman who's speaking now in the blue jean shirt?
From what I was told, he was one of the other directors.
6 or 7? I need a definite answer.
I don't know.
Okay. So I got 1 here, the 2 that were injured. That makes 3, and then these 2 gentlemen, 4, 5. So who would be the other 2?
Yeah, he's got Ross.
I can tell you more than 6 people.
More than 6?
I'm a script supervisor. I keep track of the narrative and how many is where. And I can tell you who's in the room.
Okay. Were you in the room?
I was at the door.
You were at the door? Can I get your ID?
You know whether or not the person in the jean shirt was inside the church and witnessed the incident?
I do not know.
Okay, why don't you come on over to the back of the script? Three, 2 to 2-4. I have 3 IDs for 3 questions.
She's really just yelling at everybody and screaming at the producers. Go back to Georgia. Oh, he was inside.
Does it appear to you that Mr. Baldwin is speaking to the other witnesses?
I think he was talking about who would know who's in the room.
Okay.
I can't really hear it. And then apparently the guy's son was working there as well.
Okay. Is this an ideal way to separate someone from witnesses?
After looking at it, probably not, but that's what happened.
Okay. Understood.
You're right at the door? Do you have an ID on you, sir? As of right now, her status is questionable. That's why we called the air light. Where were you at, sir?
I was right behind him.
Right behind him? Okay.
Yeah, I was right behind him right when it happened.
All right. So just have you guys hang out for me right here. We'll get someone to get your statement in just a second, okay?
And then they cleared the gun outside after his request, and I witnessed them clear it and saw the bullets.
Okay. So
the one that was missing, the one that fired, we don't know, but all the other ones were proper.
Officer LaFleur, does it seem to you right now that they're talking about the incident?
It seems like they're talking about the gun that was used in the incident.
All right.
They were low blanks.
They had loads of them. They didn't know. They were supposed to do their shake test before they put the gun load.
Officer, do you know what this conversation is about that we're watching right here?
Something about a shake test. I don't know, maybe the rounds, dummy rounds maybe.
Okay.
I'm not too entirely sure.
Do you agree with me that, was Mr. Baldwin supposed to be talking about the incident?
No, ma'am.
Does he appear to be doing it anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
See, when we're rehearsing, you give me the empty gun. We don't use any of the loads. It's hot until we're ready to shoot. So we put the earplugs in. You all right? I'm not worried about her. Yeah, well, me as well, but what's your situation? She's stable now. I think that's it.
Both of them took it on the shoulder. Hers came out the other shoulder, which is why it's not loaded. His, the shoulder blade stopped it. So shattered. There's basically a rotting. It's a blank. But because I think it was based on the sound of how much ringing I had, I think it was a half.
Officer, are they still talking about the incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason that you didn't stop them since you told them not to?
I think as time goes on, I tell them to stop.
It's a good bit of water. And that's
okay.
if the barrel is. So who knows what else is in the room? My other hand.
You were in the room?
Effects crew.
Okay. Can you get your ID, sir?
That's what I said. I think there was more than 6 or 7 guys. I think it was about 8.
This gentleman over here on the left,
Yes, ma'am.
any reason to believe he was inside the room at the time?
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay.
Were you in the room too, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
She was breathing. She had clear lungs. And that means anything for me. But he potentially's got air threat. It's not spectacular.
Where did it hit him? He went like this.
He took it to the right shoulder. His right shoulder blade stopped it, but they're hearing stuff in his right.
And where did she went after that?
Did they take him as he got? As soon as they were allowed to. So they'll stabilize both, and then once the sheriff says you're good to go, they'll let them go.
And she's going to you and
So she basically they're trying to stabilize her vital signs enough for the flight and administer any kind of narcotics or anything they need, blood thinners, that may be. Then they'll load her up in the helicopter and they'll fly her there. I believe the other ambulance is on the other side, and he seems to be doing better than she was, so they might drive him in an ambulance.
I heard him wave off the other car, so.
And where did it hit her? He went out and forgot he did that.
Both of them took it in the shoulder.
When I was up in Joel, I didn't see nothing on it before it hit me out.
He just went over.
Yeah,
I ran out.
I came back in the fuse and I was hoping and I didn't see nothing. I was asking if he was alright. He couldn't hear me.
You and him at the trauma hospital.
Still at St. Vincent's. They're both trauma ones.
Thanks for the information. I was curious.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just stepping away from my wife.
Yeah, no problem.
I got more out.
Get him out of my line. There's nobody in the back. He walked around.
Officer LaFleur, have more first responders now arrived?
Off to your right, you can see. There it is. Off to your right, you can see more patrol units showing up. This deputy showed up, but this corporal had been there for a minute.
And approximately how long have you now been on scene?
According to my body cam, a little over 25 minutes.
Hey, Corporal. I got 7 people there in the room when it happened, all their IDs, so.
Okay. Just get it all brought down. I'm not sure what the CID come out there.
It's okay.
At that point in time, what was your understanding of how many people were in the room and witnessed it?
I believe I said 7.
Okay. Do you know whether or not that turned out to be true?
I think there was actually more. I wrote all the people who said that they were in the room in my report.
Hey, sir. And I'm just hanging out with him because, yeah, he's the one who pulled the trigger. So.
Okay. Yeah, he tried it. Sorry, I was trying to set things up a while ago and do what you gotta do. Whatever you gotta do.
You got a notepad? Ready? All right. Do you have a notepad?
Officer LaFleur, at this point in time, I know he's no longer in the frame, but the gentleman in the blue denim shirt, do you know whether or not he was in the room at the time?
I don't recall if he was in the room or not.
Okay.
I know there was some director or whatnot there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have mine either. Yeah, so I start. Yeah, I know. It came off when I was given, trying to pack wounds. Yeah. Okay.
Officer LaFleur, does it look like Mr. Baldwin is speaking to a potential witness?
He just looks like he's talking to the guy who says his name is one of the directors, yes.
Okay. Is that what you had in mind when you asked Mr. Baldwin not to speak to anyone?
No.
Do you know what they're talking about?
I couldn't hear what they were talking about. I did hear him ask him what cigarettes he was smoking and if he could have one.
Carefully, has a bunch of loose cards in there.
Oh, geez. All right.
Or do you want to just try some pages off?
No, because I'm going to be writing quite a bit. Everybody was in the room. I mean, I have my phone on me. Yeah. It's all right. I'll just, yeah, I'll write it down.
Do you see the gentleman in the denim shirt gesturing? You want me to back it up?
Yeah, which one? Are we talking about this gentleman?
Yeah. Do you know what he's gesturing?
No, it looks like he picks up his hand. Now that you play it back, it looks like he's shaking his hand.
And had you seen him do that previously?
No, not until just now.
I thought you testified earlier about a shake test.
The gentleman was talking about a shake test.
Okay.
But I had not seen the director do it until reviewing the footage now.
Okay.
My eyes aren't always exactly where the body cam's pointed, so.
Absolutely. When you tell people not to talk about the incident, do you have an expectation that they'll follow your instructions?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it look like they're following your instructions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, I'm going to stop the video there. What else did you do on scene that day?
I helped essentially just wait with other witnesses, I guess, or people that wanted to give a statement or they needed a statement from at a different location. It was their base camp is what they called it.
So you needed to take statements from people that were at another location? Is that what you said?
No, we took people from essentially where we had them, and they took them down to their base camp, and that's where they started interviews.
And the people that you take to base camp, are those the same people that we see here in the video?
I believe so. Those people, and I don't know how many people they ended up interviewing. Did at any point in time did Mr. Baldwin tell you that he didn't pull the trigger of the gun? I believe he told me he was holding the gun. I believe in the beginning when I was leaving the church, one of the guys said that Baldwin had pulled the trigger. So just off of what was told.
And I know that this sounds ridiculous, but we have to follow some jurisdictional rules. Do you see Mr. Baldwin in this frame here?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you point him out, please? And do you see that same gentleman in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you point him out, please?
He's sitting in the middle with the glasses.
Okay. Anything else that you did of import that you can think of that you think the jury should hear about?
I think that's about it.
How long were you on scene, if you recall?
From when I got there was, I don't know, about 10 hours maybe or so. I was there until dark.
You were there for 10 hours?
Yeah, until they were done interviewing people.
Is that typical?
It is if that's what they need to be done. So.
Okay. Your Honor, just for the record, we would ask that the record reflect that Officer LaFleur has identified the defendant. Thank you. I'll pass the witness. Gotcha. Sorry, Mr. Spiro.
Oh, sorry.
Get that out of here.
I'm in the court. May I proceed? Yeah. When you got to the scene, Mr. Baldwin walked up to you and said, I was holding a gun. He blurted it out, right?
Yes.
And in fact, he was very shocked, if you could picture Alec Baldwin in a pale state, very unsure of himself. You could say an actor out of character. Fair?
Sure.
Object to the foremost question. It is Mr. Spyro testifying in the question, okay?
Baldwin, he looked very shocked. If you could picture Mr. Baldwin in a pale state, like unsure of himself, you could say an actor out of character. Is that a fair description?
Sure.
And he said to you, I'm here, whatever you want to do, right?
Yes.
He said to you at one point, where should I go, right?
Yes.
And he also pointed out to you who the director was on scene who was hit in the shoulder, right?
I believe so. Yes, I inquired about it.
And he also asked you how she was doing, right? Meaning Miss Hutchins, right?
Yes.
I don't remember you being asked about that on direct, were you?
You mean asked by the state?
Yeah.
Objection relevance?
So I want to take a step back. The dispatch that came over to your radio, sir, before you got to the scene was a dispatch for an accidental shooting by a prop gun, correct?
I believe that's what was told to me, yes.
Okay. And you've testified to that previously, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the dispatch report, you know that you received that wording, accidental discharge, several times, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So I want to ask you, how come when you described it today in court, how come you didn't include the word accident when you testified before this jury?
I'm not one to say if it was an accident or not. Just there to initially respond to it, and then the detectives determine whether or not it was an accident.
Well, sure, but every other time you've been asked about this, you've said it was an accident. And now today at the trial of Alec Baldwin, when you're talking to this jury, you left that word out. Isn't that true?
Not intentionally, no.
Did you meet with the prosecutors before you testified here today?
Just briefly in the room outside for them to tell me who was in order of what witness.
You've discussed your testimony previously with Ms. Morrissey, correct? Before today?
Just in a pre-trial interview, yes.
We've talked about your lapel that was on. It's true, right, that the lapel is actually mandatory?
Yes.
Right? And so they came to the officers, passed a law, and told you had to wear your lapel, right?
Yes.
And the way it works is it secures all of these statements, and when you're done wearing it for the day, you go back to the station, you log it in, and then it exists, right?
Essentially, yeah, but it's more complex than that. It uploads on itself.
Oh, it self-uploads so that it maintains itself?
Yes.
Okay. And you then talked a little bit about the securing of the scene, and you talked about crime scene tape going up, right?
Yes.
But as you just told this jury, at the time, you don't know whether this is an accident or not, right?
Yes.
It's not like a crime scene tape is some evidence of a crime, right?
Whether it was an accident or a crime scene is still essential.
And you've been very candid that you made some mistakes at the scene, right?
Yes.
And that you've learned since then about some of these mistakes, right?
Yes.
You've said hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yes.
And you can Monday morning quarterback decisions, but you made them in the field, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've said that based on your training and experience, you know that if witnesses are left to speak to each other, they can taint each other's memories, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that's incidental and accidental, right?
Yes.
And sometimes it's purposeful. Right?
Depends on who's there, yes.
Well, if you were with somebody and somebody was talking to you about the 911 call, right? And they kept saying to you over and over, it wasn't an accident, it wasn't an accident. And then you testify and you leave out the word accident. That could be an example of taint, couldn't it?
Sure.
And also, non-witnesses can taint people's memories too. You agree with me?
I guess.
Well, at one point in your testimony previously, you had said that there was a lawyer on the scene that was talking to some of the people that were on the scene.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And if that lawyer told somebody on the scene, I think your understanding is that could have tainted their view of their memory, right?
Essentially, yes.
Mr. Baldwin never asked to speak to that lawyer, did he?
Not to my recollection.
And then you went on and you said, that you had told Mr. Baldwin not to speak to the other witnesses. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
And I think you were asked approximately 5 times why Mr. Baldwin was disobeying your orders. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But in the lapel video that we just saw, you're not going up to Mr. Baldwin or these witnesses going, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm an officer. You got to separate. You don't do that, right?
Nope.
And also in that video, you can see a lot of these people are coming over to Mr. Baldwin, right?
Yes.
One of them comes over and shakes his hand, right?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that in all of your experience? Somebody commit a homicide and everybody and all the witnesses are on the scene, circling around the person, shaking his hand and talking to him about what happened. Have you ever seen that in your entire career?
No.
And then you went on to say, well, you didn't put him in the cruiser. You didn't put him in the cruiser because your cruiser was being used. Was I guess the reason that you gave? Was that? Did I understand that right?
My patrol unit was being actively used as a post on the other side of the field for crime scene.
When you say a post, you mean like it goes somewhere else and you put the tape around it? Is that?
The side mirror was wrapped around with crime scene tape.
You mean there were also another dozen officers on the scene that day that had police cars if they wanted to put Mr. Baldwin in at any point, right?
Yep.
Okay. And in fact, Mr. Baldwin later on drives himself to the precinct and goes and speaks to the police, right?
I'm not too sure how he got there, but he did get there.
Well, he wasn't under arrest, right?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And so you use this word detain. When Miss Morrissey asked you, well, were you detaining Mr. Baldwin? Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Isn't it true that even today, years later, no police officer has ever arrested Mr. Baldwin or detained him in a police car? True?
I don't know.
The police department, Santa Fe Police Department, has never arrested Mr. Baldwin.
Not the Santa Fe Police Department.
Question asked and answered.
And one of the things that you do as an officer on the scene is you observe demeanor, right?
Yes.
And you spent 10 hours on the scene, I think I heard you say, right?
Yes.
You got to see the people of Rust that day live, right?
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is that you took it as a way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say. Isn't that true?
I wouldn't say there was no intention. I don't know the individual's intentions, but his demeanor was sad, upset.
Okay, well, it's not just his demeanor being sad and upset, right? Okay, we'll move that to the side. And I understand you're not a mind reader, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All you can do is look at the people and look at how they're interacting and make your own judgments, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you do that as a police officer to try to figure out how to interact with a scene. True?
Yes.
Okay, and isn't it true that the way you took it, how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say. Isn't that true?
Again, the wording you're using, I wouldn't say I had any clue of whose intention was what, but he was sad and upset.
Okay, well, let's play. I'm going to play his statement to that effect. Feel that up, please, if that's okay. He's saying he didn't say that he did. I'm going to impeach. Well, you want me to clarify? Okay. Are you claiming that you didn't say that?
Rephrase what you said?
Sure. Dispatch said it was an accidental shooting by a prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any. I took it as the way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say,
Again, I wouldn't say I knew what his intention was.
I understand that. What I'm asking you now, okay, is did you in fact say those words that I just asked you?
At what time? The Gutierrez or PTI?
Yeah.
May have.
Okay. You don't deny saying that?
No.
I'm just going to ask you, did you say that statement that I read?
If you're reading the statement and it says my name next to it, then I more likely said it. I just don't recall when.
And one of the other things that happened that day that I don't think we've talked about is you spoke to a witness who told you that a woman named Sarah was crying and shaking and going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got in there.
Objection, hearsay.
I'm asking the witness if he had that information.
He's making the statement, the hearsay statement is coming in.
Do you know whether anybody at the scene was, before you got there, shaking and going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got in?
I don't know.
Okay. If we could refresh the witness with his lapel, and I would ask that can I put it up on just his screen? Okay.
I would object because that's not proper refreshment. We don't refresh in front of the jurors. That's my objection. Well, if we're refreshing...
We're going to talk about
Rise for the jury.
All right, you're excused. You can move over. And this thing...
We would move defense 8 into evidence, which is the 911 dispatch.
Okay, is your witness going to recognize it? Or is it by stipulation? It's by stipulation.
Right.
Okay.
That's what we agreed.
All right.
Okay, and if we could just, so that the jury can see, page 6, if we could just publish it to the jury.
But defendant's 8? Is that 8? Defendant's 8 is admitted. You may publish.
This page, I can't see the page at the bottom. And you see how it says accident, accident, accident. I can touch it? Oh, accident. Okay. And then I would ask, the 911 is exhibits 9 and 10, which is now I and J. Exhibits 9 and 10. That was entered into and played at opening by stipulation, and I'd ask to enter them and play exhibits I and J. Yes, sir.
Why are the 911 calls?
Yeah.
Why are they 2 exhibits?
It just splits because of the EMS. It's the same
Okay.
employee.
All right. So upon stipulation, not being corrected otherwise, go ahead.
Thank you. Can we turn the volume up?
You may publish.
The 911
the location of your emergency?
We need an ambulance out at Bonanza Creek Ranch right now. We've had 2 people shot on a movie set accidentally.
You said someone was shot?
2 people accidentally with gunshots on a movie set, Bonanza Creek Ranch.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll connect you with medical dispatch.
San Jose Fire and EMS, what's the location of the emergency? Bonanza Creek Ranch. We've had 2 people accidentally shot on a movie set by a prop gun. We need help immediately. Okay, this fucking AD that yelled at me at lunch because asking about revisions, this motherfucker. Did you see him lean over my table and yell at me? He's supposed to check the guns. He's responsible for what happened.
Now, Mimi?
No. I'm a script supervisor.
How many people are injured?
2 that I know of. I was sitting, we were rehearsing, and it went off, and I ran out.
You heard some language, and then that first assistant was supposed to check the gun. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear anybody on the 911 call mention Alec Baldwin at all?
No.
I asked you before we broke about a prior statement. I asked you if you made a prior statement that we talked about a few times. So I'm just going to approach quickly and refresh your recollection. This is November 30th, 2023. Your pretrial interview, Officer LaFleur. And I'm just going to ask you to read down here.
Your Honor, and again, Mr. Spiro's testifying as he's handing it to the witness.
Just identify what the document is.
Refresh your recollection, sir? Yeah. So and I'm just going to take this back. It is fair that when asked that it came in as like it appeared to be, and what the dispatch said, it was an accidental shooting by a prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any. I took it as the way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was
Objection, Your Honor.
The way he was.
Objection, Your Honor.
I was walking back. My question was, did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. So is it in fact true that in your earlier statement you said, and it came in like and appeared to be what the dispatch said it was, an accidental shooting by a prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any. I took it as the way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say,
Yes.
You made that statement, correct?
Yes.
And I asked you also whether you remembered receiving any information as to the ammunition, whether they be prop or otherwise, that was at the scene. If you recalled, Duran Curtin, one of the individuals in the church, giving you information. Do you remember that?
There's a lot of people in the church giving information. Can you identify which one it was?
Sure. I asked you, do you remember whether or not somebody told you that Sarah was shaking and going through the book?
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay. This is hearsay coming in. Can we approach? I don't know what to...
There's more to come in the Rust shooting trial against Alec Baldwin from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. Press subscribe now.